Hi everyone, my name is Ierie, and this is Reminisce with This, where I take a little time out of my day to sit and reminisce with you on simpler times, from all the different hobbies, interests, and collections I've obtained over the years. Though for me, it's not always about the physical form of the things that I've collected, but rather the memories I've gained along the way. The memories that I've made with people and places, and just the experiences I've gained since I've started my collections. And that's what brings me here today. That's what has brought my collection to the capacity that it is, and why I still continue to do what I do. And quite frankly, I really do love every moment of this journey that I've been cultivating thus far. It is new for me, but I really am at the best way I could put it, really experiencing at a new level all of my memories at a different scope than I probably ever have been able to really take a step back and really just observe from, in a way, an outsider perspective. Really diving into those memories and enjoying them at a deeper level than maybe I had ever really thought about doing so prior. But with today, I get to share something that is a favorite of mine. For it being Favorite Friday, I get to dive in and how I was introduced to this anime and how my memories intertwined with it. Now, I have talked about a few times here that I was a frequent shopper at most video stores. May it be like off mom and pop shops and or Blockbuster or Hollywood Video. But how I got to know this anime is from a time period where my mom worked at Hollywood Video. And while it was closing down, I too was working at Hollywood Video. But not what you would expect. One of my first legal jobs was actually, as Hollywood Video was closing, I was one of the sign flippers for Hollywood Video and showcasing that we were closing and that we had sales going on and all that stuff. So I stood on the corner of where we were, kind of by, and I flipped signs for a few hours, go inside for a little bit, go back outside, and so forth. But with doing that, I saved up a little money and I was able to buy quite a bunch of different animes and things like that I really do enjoy still to this day. My favorite anime, or I should say one of my favorite animes that I'm going to talk about today, is one that I found while I was working at Hollywood Video. While it was closing down, I was only able to actually get the first couple episodes on the one disc that they had. As we know, not all the time did those video stores have the full collection of the series. They'd have one or two, and then you were expected to go and find them and locate them elsewhere. And with a specific anime, that was the case. I had the one, and from time to time, I was able to watch a few episodes here. I had my brother's friend that let me watch a few episodes that he owned from, his own collection. But I didn't honestly get to finish it until much later on in life. And I initially found that DVD at Hollywood Video around 2007, 2008. Though I didn't actually finish the anime until probably about, I want to say, in between 2015 to 2017. Somewhere in that ballpark. Maybe a little sooner, but nonetheless, I digress on this specific anime. This anime that I want to talk about today is Speedgrapher. Now, it's definitely for mature audiences. It's by no means something a child should be watching. And quite frankly, it probably was a little mature for my age at the time that I found it, but it still was one of those animes that I really did enjoy watching. It gave a different perspective of what the possibilities could be for a certain nation or land, or just overall what the possibilities of high society could be doing behind the scenes. And as we know from social media and things that have come about as of late, I don't think this anime was too far off with all of the different circumstances that we have seen come to light. It really beckons the question for me is, how far off is this anime to reality? This anime is quite honestly great. I have shown this anime to one of my aunts actually, and she really did enjoy this anime. It's definitely one of those that it is, to put it politely, raunchy. But at the same time, it's dark, it's gritty, it has a underlining story of the dark higher up class that could possibly be putting their hands in too many baskets, if you will. Where this, we follow the main character, Saiga. And he is a photographer. With him being the photographer that he really is one of those that kind of fell from grace, went from being a war photographer to then taking photographs of like politicians and high society, celebrities, and things like that. So in a way, he fell from grace. You could say he was more like a high-class paparazzi for some circumstances. This does take place in Japan, and it follows Saiga as he continues to follow a politician. One of the politicians that he finds himself following ends up taking him to an underground society of sorts. One that really has no bounds of possibilities there. From all of the different mature settings that you could necessarily find in one of these situations, if you will. I've got to be quite choosy on my words, as I don't want any of these things to necessarily be said and or possibly my video taken down. So that's why I'm quite choosy on what I'm saying, but it is a great anime. You continue to follow Saiga as they do these rituals in this underground setting. From the first underground ritual, you see Saiga really start to transition from just a regular photographer to someone that's caught in the middle of something bigger. A scheme that, quite frankly, has a lot of high-profile members all targeting Saiga. All while he's trying to find and help one of the people in the rituals. This particular person is a girl of a high school, middle school age. And so she's put in circumstances that necessarily no child should be in. And she leans on Saiga for help. Now, this circumstance is definitely one of those things that is a very touchy subject. I would definitely say so, considering the time and place that we're in today. But overall, it's a really great anime. It has a lot of dark undertones, most definitely. But from the storytelling, from what it is, from start to finish, every episode is captivating. Every episode is different for the most part. You have a lot of villains of sorts. You have a lot of people that are trying to find and, in ways, unalive Saiga. Saiga is really trying to just do his best and uncover a society of things that necessarily the people under Tokyo did not know about. It's one of those things that again really beckons my thoughts on how much of this is factual in almost every society. As we know, again, this doesn't fall so short from what we see today in the news, or lack thereof. But we follow Saiga as he goes through this journey. There are some people that help him. There's quite honestly a hilarious female cop within this. And I really enjoy that character. And I'm pretty sure so did my aunt. This particular character has somewhat of a, you could say, an infatuation with Saiga, but really has a better understanding towards this, as the show goes on, of what he's getting himself into and tries to do her best to help. Now, may not be the best at what she does, but at least he has someone on his side capable enough to help in this sticky situation. This anime, like I said, has very adult, mature circumstances. There are quite a few things in there that you see that it's probably a little downright just dirty. From all of the different, like I said, rituals, you see a lot of the different ways that these high society type of people now view the lower class, the lower people, and how it's acceptable to put your money in a society that in ways now targets those lower classes by having them be a part of these rituals or taken out in ways that they're less than. But also, it shows that a lot of these high society people can also be put in the same situations. As if they don't pay dues, if they don't necessarily hold up for the most part, the morals of the society. It's in a way like Fight Club. You don't talk about it unless you're brought into it. You're only brought into it is if you have something to offer to the society. And when they're done with you and you have no longer anything to offer them, they'll do everything in their power to now target you. Wipe your banks clean, mess with your family bloodline, and like I said, take you out. Sometimes taking out an entire family. Well, like I said earlier, the young girl, her mom is this, in a way, the high-profile society member. She's one of the richest people in Tokyo, and someone that is okay with the society being ran, as she has everything to gain from money, power, and overall just the infatuation from the people that she could honestly have at a whim. This particular character ends up really, in a way, torturing her daughter, hence how her daughter gets put in these situations. But as we go on within this anime, we start to find out certain things that maybe the mom wasn't all the wiser for everything that was going on. Now, I'm not going to get into too much detail here, as I don't want to give too much away within this anime. But if you would like to check this anime out, I highly recommend it. This anime really does have a lot of great storytelling to go along with it. Like I said, you follow a fallen from grace photographer, Saiga, in his journeys to navigate through this underground society and now the target that's on his back. He, while doing his best to save the young child, or I should say teenager, both the same, and how he can really get her out of these situations. But is it going to be at a cost? I would definitely say that there's a possibility of sorts, as the rituals, for the most part, grant quite a lot of people, in a way, gifts. Now, are those gifts superhuman abilities of sorts? Maybe. Is it gifts of financial gain? Maybe. Is it gifts of power? Maybe. If you would like to know more about Speedgrapher and what those rituals brought for certain people, I would highly recommend you check out Speedgrapher. Speedgrapher is in probably my top 5 favorite animes of all time, alongside some of my favorite Magical Girl animes, but Speedgrapher is up there. It's one of those that I have watched numerous times over the years. It's one that I recommend to a lot of my friends and family, actually. Like I stated, my aunt has watched this entirety with me. This is one that I can say is a phenomenal anime. The storytelling, the characters, the differences of what an underground society could be like. High-profile society, nonetheless. But if you're interested in this anime, I highly recommend you check it out. It is on Crunchyroll, if I'm not mistaken. That's where I have suggested quite a few friends go and watch it. And if I'm not mistaken, the last time I was on Crunchyroll about a month ago, looking up this specific anime to add it to a friend's playlist, it was still up. So I highly recommend you go ahead and take a look at Speedgrapher. If you're interested in everything that I said, and as vague as I was possibly able to be without spoiling anything, I highly recommend this anime. It's a phenomenal anime. It's one that you'll honestly want to keep watching to the end. Watching to the end is actually one of my favorite anime endings as well. Now, of course, again, it is for mature audiences. It handles a lot of different things that I would suggest you look into just a little further, just in the interim that something might be a little too heavy for you. If the circumstances that it does portray in the anime is too heavy for you, I could always recommend something a little lighter. But with today being Favorite Friday, this is what I decided to talk about. This is one of my favorite animes. And if you do check it out, I would love to hear back from you. I would love to hear your opinion based off of what you thought of the anime and the overall storyline. If you really do enjoy the anime, I would love to know as well. So of course, leave a like, a comment, and subscribe so that way you can stay in contact with me regarding the different animes that I may talk about or the different videos that I post, and we can have these different discussions regarding these things and these topics. I would love to hear more from you if you do check this anime out. It does have quite a few episodes, but not entirely too much that you couldn't spend a few days watching them back to back and probably binging them just as fast as you would watch your favorite TV show. With that being said, it was Favorite Friday. Thank you for reminiscing with me today, and I hope you have a great one. Though, as per usual, if you have not been told you are loved today, cherished, and or cared about, just know that I love you, I cherish you, and I care about you. Until the next one, I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.